Hey there! Did you know that the average American spends around $1,885 on housing each month? Yep, that includes all those additional costs like utilities and repairs. But here's the thing, housing should actually be your biggest monthly expense. After all, where you live has a big impact on your quality of life, right? So it might be worth spending a bit more on a place you love and feel comfortable in. But you know what's actually the most expensive thing for the average American? Transportation! And it's kind of surprising that we don't talk about it enough. On average, people spend around $1,000 on their car payments each month. We also need to add to that insurance, gas, and cost of repairs and maintenance. So what's the deal with cars being so darn expensive? Is it really worth buying a brand new car? And how can you cut down on your transportation costs to save some money? Don't go anywhere. We're about to answer these questions for you. Depreciation is a major problem. So why is owning a car so expensive? Well, let's talk about it. For starters, depreciation is a major problem. A new car loses up to 20% of its value in the first year of ownership and up to 40% of its value during the first 5 years. That's a significant loss in value. Paying interest on car loans can also drain your wealth. The average interest rate for a new car loan is 8.98% for those with a credit score of 750 or better, and it skyrockets for those with lower scores. Insurance is another major expense. Car insurance can be a big expense for anyone who owns a car. On average, getting the minimum amount of coverage costs about $622 per year, while getting the maximum coverage can set you back around $2,000. It's important to make sure that you have at least the minimum amount of liability insurance required by your state's laws. But keep in mind that even with this coverage, you could still be held accountable for the cost of damages and medical bills if you cause an accident. And if you do end up in a collision, your insurance costs could go up by as much as 93%. Regular maintenance and repairs are even more expensive. Let's talk about the cost of maintaining your car. Sure, an $80 oil change here and there may not seem like much, but when you add up all the costs, you might be surprised. Brake pads can cost anywhere from $115 to $300, and the average oil change is around $40 to $80. If you assume you need an oil change and tire rotation every 5,000 miles, plus new brake pads every 20,000 miles, you're looking at around $600 a year for standard maintenance, and that's if you only travel 20,000 miles per year. Regular maintenance is important for any car, but if you've had your vehicle for a few years, you'll eventually need repairs. The costs of these repairs can add up quickly. Replacing a battery can cost up to $350, and fixing a flat or blown tire can be anywhere from $10 to $250. Transmission problems can be even more expensive, ranging from $1,200 to $6,000. Even a small collision can cost you anywhere from $200 to $3,000. Your car spends more time sitting than being used. What's more, your car spends more time sitting than being used. Americans only drive for 8 hours and 22 minutes each week on average, meaning that your car is most likely idle for approximately 160 of every 168 hours. That's a lot of money to spend on something you're not even using. So what can you do to minimize the cost of transportation? When it comes to car maintenance, everyone wants to spend less, right? I mean, who doesn't love saving money? Sure, we can't eliminate all transportation expenses, but there are a few tricks to keep those costs down. If you're not someone who drives often, leasing could be a great option to consider. On the other hand, if public transportation works for your needs, it's definitely worth giving it some thought. Using buses, trains, subways, or van pools can free you from driving responsibilities and also help you save some money on gas and maintenance. Carpooling is another viable option to consider. Even if you do own a car, sharing driving duties with a friend could reduce the amount of gas you use, and it's also a great way to keep your car in better shape. Let's be real, sometimes using your own car is the only option, especially if your work schedule doesn't align with public transportation. In that case, consider scaling down your plans. Opt for a small sedan instead of a gas-guzzling SUV. Did you know that small sedans cost about 44% less to operate than SUVs? Plus, it's a great way to contribute to a healthier environment and take care of your health as well. Another tip to save money is to choose a car with a smaller engine. If you don't need an 8-cylinder engine, why pay extra for it? And if you don't usually carry heavy loads, a bigger engine will only only cost you more on gas. Lastly, try to reduce the number of times you drive your car each week. You could commute short distances on foot or bike, and even combine tasks to make fewer trips. Instead of making multiple trips for different errands, try to make one trip that encompasses all of them. Buying a car might seem like a good idea initially, but it's not always the smartest choice. After a few years, your car won't be as exciting as when you first got it, so after 5 years you might regret your decision to buy it. It's better to start thinking ahead and invest your money in something more valuable. What do you think about owning a car when you can use public transportation to get around? Do you think it's worth it? Thanks a bunch for tuning in to this video. I really hope you had a good time watching it. By the way, if you're new here, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you want to catch all of my latest content, be sure to stay tuned for the next one.